Yo, what's up, guys? Hope you're doing good. Give it like a minute for some people to hop on. It's been a little bit since I've done a live stream, but I want to start doing more. If you can hear me, type in the chat, what's up? So this way I can hear you. I had to turn my air conditioner off because I think in order to have this go and have you guys not hear that thing, I'm going to have to like really use my limiter on my microphone. I don't want to do that. Yo, what's up, Marcel? What's up, R1? What's up, AOK Productions? Josh, how you guys doing? Give it a minute. And just post this live. We live. Use the link above. All right, cool. Yeah, so what's up, guys? We have 40 people on here. Hit the like button. If you guys aren't on the Discord, check out the Discord. Link will be in the description. If it's not, which I actually don't know, I think I updated the description. If not, go check it out. We're over like 7,200 people in this Discord, which is freaking insane. We're not even doing this for a year. The link will be in the chat box. But my goal for this, I want to start live streaming more, like at least a couple days a week. They don't tend to get as many views. They don't get pushed by the algorithm. But to be quite honest, like I really don't care. I also tend to kind of curse a little bit. So monetization doesn't help. But I don't really care. Like I feel that when I do a live stream, it is a lot more impactful towards you guys, and that you guys do like learn a lot more when I'm actually teaching live as opposed to just like doing analysis recaps and stuff like that. So if you guys want live videos, hit the like button, comment, and let me know that you want them. And what I might do is actually maybe do like a stock market podcast where like I'll go live every day for like an hour, and then I'll chop that up. Like I'll record it, chop it up, and then re-put it out in bits and clips so that this way you guys can still watch that later on if you want. But let's do this. Let's hop into it. The way I normally do these, start with Tesla. We'll definitely talk about Amazon. I'm waiting for a call to hop on a meeting, but that shouldn't be for about an hour. So if I do have to go, I have to go. I'll let you guys know that before. But we'll start with Tesla, look at some Amazon because of the split. And if you guys have any tickers you want me to look at, or you have any questions, put them in the comment section. If I can answer them and get to them, I will. If not, we won't. So on that note, let's take a look at Tesla. So Tesla today, currently at this point, we're up 1.345%. We're flirting with this POC, or this point of control line here on this daily chart. Now, I talk a lot on these live streams about point of control, and a lot of you guys have questions about point of control, so I'll just kind of talk about that first. A point of control is the area on a time frame with the chart you're looking at that is going to show you the most amount of volume, which is this red line here. This red line at 723 is the most amount of volume on Tesla within the past year. That's important because big money, or anyone in general who is trading, wants volume to go along with the trade that they're placing. You cannot move the market yourself. A lot of whales can't even move the market themselves. So everyone wants to pile in when they can, where there's a lot of volume. And that's why we see these low areas of volume where a stock will drop through that area very, very quickly because nobody wants to hop in. It's kind of like hot potato. Like no one wants to get stuck with the bag. No one wants to get stuck with not enough chairs to fill. So that is usually the areas in which they hop out and they want to wait for bigger areas of volume to get back in. And we're sitting on this area. This is the point of control. Point of control is very important because it tends to be a very good support and a very good resistance. So you see we're holding this area here. Now, can anybody tell me, while I continue to talk about point of control, can anybody tell me what pattern, I'm just going to highlight the whole thing, what pattern this is? If you can tell me what this pattern is, you get a gold star. But overall, looking at Tesla, we're holding this point of control range, which is important. The RSI is under 50, so it's still bearish, but we're starting to trend our way back up. The TTM just started squeezing today and Friday, so we have a little bit of a squeeze happening here. And we have that old support is 791 that we've been talking about for a bit, acting as a resistance here. So we do have one bullish thing that is happening right now, and I see everyone in the chat that's saying IHS, inverted head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders. Yes, completely. Inverted head and shoulders is what it is. You guys all get gold stars. Dylan, Andreas, Pente, Nick, everyone who said that, you all get a gold star. We'll have to like find a way to give it out or something. But yeah, exactly. Inverted head and shoulders. So if I go through and draw this out, you're going to see a shoulder here. You're going to see a head here. and then a potential shoulder here, with the neckline being $800 resistance. And in a perfect world, what happens is we will consolidate basically between 700 and about 780, and then hopefully we will break out and we will push our way all the way up to hopefully about $910. In a perfect world, that's what would happen. Now, that doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen, but in a perfect world, that's what you would normally see. Not all of these are perfect. Sometimes you'll see like a janky shoulder and a janky head and a janky shoulder, but inverted head and shoulder with a neckline at 795. That's what I've been watching. That's what I've been looking for. Does that mean that we have to be, or that we are going to be bullish? Of course not. We can always see this thing reject. We can always see this thing take a big fade. But I do think that we're probably going to see a move back up to $900 in the next couple of weeks. Now, what would be a sign that this is a failed inverted head and shoulders? Well, that would be if we snap the shoulder line here at about $700, right? This was a support for this shoulder before and this shoulder now. So if we were to snap this, then a move down to 621 is going to end up happening. And if we look at the bigger time frames here on the weekly chart, $600 is not that big of a support. If we were to snap 600, we're probably going to move back down to the 5s and 4s. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the market has sold off the drastic amount that we ended up expecting. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, inverted head and shoulders is what I'm watching, and that's what it's looking like we're probably going to end up having on Tesla moving into the next couple of days. The next one is going to be Amazon. So anyone here on the live, if you want me to look at a ticker or have a question or something, put it in the chat if you just got on here, and we'll go over it. But I want to talk about Amazon briefly because a lot of people have been asking me about it. It had a split. Why is it, I don't want to say like, why is it so good for a split, but can anybody tell me one of the major benefits as a trader for a stock splitting? What is one of the major benefits for a stock splitting? I'm going to see if you guys, caught up on this as a trader. Why would we like Amazon no longer trading in the 2000s and now being at 125? Let me know in the chat. More investors. All right, potentially options trading. Options trading is the main thing. So Andreas, Josh, Eugene, BG, yeah, options, and also liquidity too, Rob, but it's really options, because before, if you're going to even get a weekly option on Amazon, it's going to end up costing you about $2,500, maybe even $800 or $900, right? When the underlying is priced higher, then your options contracts are going to be priced higher as well. So when the option is, or when it's lower, the options market is going to be worth less money per contract, which is very, very good. Yet we're still going to have a shit ton of volume because it's Amazon stock. So if you're somebody who likes to do put credit spreads, cash secured puts, like you can actually sell cash secured puts on Amazon now, which is something most people couldn't do because it would cost you like $20,000 to sell a cash secured put. So that is a major upside for Amazon being here. Now, let's go to a weekly chart. Looking at Amazon, this thing moves on a bigger time frame in a very orderly fashion, right? You can see that if we go through, we have usually sideways movement for years and years and years, followed by a massive breakout. So you can see from August 13th, 2018, all the way up until right now, up until about April 27, 2020, we moved in this horizontal fashion and then had a massive breakout. And then once again, you can see same type of movement that from about August 10th of 2020 up until about, 1 month ago, we had a horizontal movement and looked like we're going to make another breakup. We didn't, but look at where we bounced, right? And this is why I always tell you guys, like, of course, support and resistance is very important, but when you look at a bigger time frame, it's going to give you a full picture. The reason we bounced on this support is because this was $2,000. So what would be $103 right now was $2,000, and $2,000 at the time pre-split was a massive, massive move. In my opinion, personally, and I know a lot of you guys are not going to be like happy for me to hear this, I don't think Amazon is worth a trade right now. What could this potentially be? Can anyone tell me what this move could potentially be here on the weekly chart? What would this be called? A blank bounce. But for me, it's just not, the juice isn't worth the squeeze for a trade, because if we were to push up here, let's say from 126, I'll actually go through and I will throw out my position planner. So say we were to enter a position here, major resistance is up at like 150, which is a 20% move. Next spot to support is about a 20% loss down at $100. So a risk versus reward ratio of 1 to 1 is just not worth it. It's really not worth it. So for me, no. Tide, dead cat. Yeah, it could be a dead cat bounce. And a dead cat just happens when we have a massive sell-off followed by a recovery bounce. And this bounce, I'm not saying this is what's happening here, but this bounce traps a lot of bulls and then it rejects and sells off. So for me, I think Amazon long-term is phenomenal right now. Personally, not something I would be trading. We had this double bottom, little janky, potential inverted head and shoulders, but I really wouldn't be trading this personally. If we can push up through 126 and hold, see how we had this breakout, this false move here today? We had this false move. If we could have actually held up over 127, we can get a run up to 135 and then potentially up to 160. But for me, risk versus reward, it's not worth it. Would you explain why a stock split is good for options? Yeah, it's good because when the underlying price of a stock, so when Amazon stock is cheaper, the options are cheaper. And the reason that that is good for the options market is more people will participate in options. When you look at the options market, there's not that type of volume that you normally see with shares. Like some contracts might only have 10 or 20 volume in a given day. So the options market is important if you're a small retail trader and you only have a couple, maybe $10,000, $15,000 to trade with, and you don't want to go throwing your entire portfolio in. You don't have to do that now. Now you could have done spreads before, but if you're somebody who's playing options, they're going to be cheaper now. Let me go through some of this. So for me, I would be skipping Amazon at this point. Did you guys talk about Tesla? I already did. I took a screenshot, or I took a video recording. So what I'm going to do is record these and then break them up. Basically at this point with Tesla, inverted head and shoulders, looking like we're going to probably break out to the upside. Let me go through some of these. Google, Shop, CRWD, more investors. Let's take a look at Google, Shop, CRWD, and then we'll go through some questions. So we're just going to briefly go through these as I look at a stock, because like when I look at a ticker, it's very quick. Descending wedge on Shopify, TTM squeeze. So we have a squeeze happening here for the past 4 days. Point of control support at $400. I like this. I don't like that it's downtrending. I don't like that we're trying to catch this falling knife here. But we do have a divergence on the weekly. So we made a lower low, but the RSI made a higher low. I think Shopify is worth it, to be honest, from a trading standpoint. What I would do personally, I can't tell you guys what to do. What I would personally do is enter here, look to take profits up around 740, and then I would run a stop loss down at 238. That's going to give you a potential 100% return for a potential 30% loss, and that's probably going to take about 6 months. Unless you want a shorter term trade, shorter term, you can take profit at 500, set a stop loss at like 297. If you guys have already hit the like button, because there's 180 people here and only 36 people have hit the like button, and join the Discord down below. It's completely free, so check it out. Shopify and CRWD. I already did Shopify. CRWD, that is not it. CRWD. Okay, so CrowdStrike Holdings, little support here, holding 155. Looking at the weekly. We're not really uptrending anymore. Personally, not something I would touch. It looks like we could get a run up to 189, potentially 200, but this is not something I would touch. I want to actually just show you guys briefly what I do look for. Let's just do this very, very quickly, right? I want you to notice one thing. This is my watch list, and I'm going to go through every single one very quickly, and you tell me what you notice, right? Tell me what you notice. So starting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What have you noticed so far with every single ticker I'm showing? It's only like a quick flash, but what's like the major distinction you guys are noticing? Except for this one. KMB is not. All right, there we go. Every one of them. But KMB and MAT, what do you notice? They're all uptrending. There's an amber alert. My phone's exploding. They're all uptrending. Yeah, they're all pushing higher highs. They're all uptrending. That is what I try to focus on, right? So I personally try to focus on uptrending. Uptrending stocks that, you know, this is a really good example. I I want to try to explain how to do this live, but without going too sideways. But my mentor, when I first started trading, asked me, what stock would you rather buy? A stock that's down 80% from its highs, or a stock that's hitting all-time highs, right? And when I started trading, I said to myself, right, and you guys might know the true answer to this question, but I said, I want the stock that's down 80%, because that means there's a huge deal that I can take advantage of, right? And he's like, no, you want the stock that's making higher highs, because even though there's not a huge potential for massive returns, you're playing a winner's game, right? So, and I was like, oh shit. And then when I started only trading stocks that are uptrending, everything changed for me, because I'm literally playing, even though I'm not going to get massive returns, right? I'm playing a game in which the stock is continuing to go higher and higher, and it's been on a very long trend for a very long time. Exactly, Ty. Trend following. It's very important. Your lucid trade, when is the exit? So lucid trade, I'm supposed to exit up here at 1935. That's a day trade in the premium group in the Discord. I was supposed to exit at 1935, but I've been goofing off. So that was my goal. We'll see if we hold it today, but lucid, FSR, and some other company, I forget, another one of those EV companies got a lot of buys today too. So we'll see. Maybe I'll hold it overnight. But yeah, trend following. Like, trend following is very, very important. Following those uptrends. How do I find them? There are ways that you can use scanners to find higher trending stocks, but a lot of the times I just go through the S&P 500 very briefly, like I was showing you there. This is my watch list, but I was briefly going through, and I just go through and I just see what is uptrending. Okay, and then I look, right? Okay, well, JKS is uptrending. Let's just use what's a good stock? All right, this is a good one. I think it's SMCI. So let's talk about this. We called this out a couple of weeks ago. So a couple of weeks ago, if you're part of the premium group in the Discord, I called out this stock because we're uptrending in a major way. So if we look at the weekly chart, we've been uptrending for a very, very long time. That's the first thing I noticed on the weekly. We're uptrending. And then I noticed that there's not a lot of volume up above this resistance. I noticed we had a big gap up followed by a pullback, and we had a nice descending wedge here down to support. My entry was down at 46 bucks. I set a stop loss down here around the 50 SMA, which is a 7% loss, and my target price was between 54 and 57 because these were the resistances prior. So I was willing to risk 7%, so this position was $10,000. I was willing to risk a $700 loss for a potential $1,500 to $2,300 profit. Now, I sold way early. I only made like $1,000 on that, but that's kind of how I set those prices up. And I can do a video on that in the future if you want. I do play a lot of ascending wedges. I saw that Aki. I do play a lot of ascending wedges. I tend to play the same stuff, like ascending wedges, flags, inverted head and shoulders, etc. I try to keep it very, very minimal. Like, if you're a part of our Discord, I only trade like 30-40 minutes a day. Right? I try to be in front of the screen as little as I humanly can, because I understand human emotion. Like, I understand that if I sit here, I'm going to want to take positions. Let's take a look at Google. Google, inverted head and shoulders, probably going to continue to sit sideways between where we are now and 2284 for the next week or so, and then try to make a move back up to 2500. Someone asked me about Facebook and Meta. I think long-term, the company's fine. Short-term, probably going to take another move down to 180. Not something I'd be buying short term. Like I said before, I don't want to be buying stocks that are going down. That's my thing. And you guys will be able to rewatch this. It should be a normal video. It should be a normal video once I post this. The algorithm doesn't pick it up and it won't push it to you. But if you want to go back and watch it, you can. And like I said, my plan is to screen record these and then repost them up. My first live. What's up, Ron? Thank you. Have we went over Tesla? Yeah, we did. Sorry, I'm going back through some of these older things. Is it worth swinging a call for Amazon? Personally, Eugene, no. For me, no. I don't think so. I think there's a lot of better positions out there. We already went over stock split. Do you think Tesla will go under 500? I do not think so. If it is, I'm going to fucking put a lot of money in it. What do you think? EQNR. All right, Michael, let's go through this. EQNR and Roblox. EQNR. So I actually have, you can see here, EQNR is on my watch list. All right, let's talk about this real quick, because I want you guys to chime in a bit. So the goal of this, while we're in the live stream, I want you guys to tell me why this is something that I would potentially trade, right? Going over everything that we've talked about for a bit, why would this be something I would trade, right? The very first thing, it's uptrending, right? So we know it's uptrending. I talked about that earlier. Uptrending is what I'm always looking for. We know this thing has been a good uptrend, right? What is this pattern that we're watching here? What is this happening to perfection, basically? Gold star if anyone can tell me this pattern. And then I'll go over how I set my stops and everything. Third time I see a cup. That's right, Marcel. Cup and handle. Eugene, cup and handle. With a small handle. Little handle. Yeah, so perfect. Cup and handle. Very easy thing to watch and to understand. Basically, you have a resistance. Then you have a big cup. Some will be shallow. Some will be super deep and wide. Then you have a double top. So that double top is up here around 38.76, followed by a pullback. Now, the perfect entry, this is where people play things differently than me. You see where it says pivot point. Does anyone know what a pivot point is? If you're in my premium group in the Discord, you'll know. But does anyone know what a pivot point is? And then I'll talk about how I set that pivot point up and how I determine my stop losses and take profits. I actually don't think I have a take profit on here. Yeah, my take profit would probably end up being around like 40. Charge and direction. Yeah, so, all right, so a pivot is basically a price point or area that would confirm a breakout. So you see this cup and handle. If this were to break up above 39 and hold within my pivot zone, that is going to mean basically, not for sure, but we are confirming a breakout. If there are times where we break through it and then drop back below, so like right here, JKS, this thing's looking like we're going to break out. It's holding up in the pivot zone. ATKR, this is a perfect example here, right? We went up into the pivot zone. Look at this the first time. I don't want to get sidetracked, but look at this, right? So the first time we broke out, we were in the pivot zone for 3 days. Looked like we were going to break out, and then we rejected, right? The reason for that is there wasn't a lot of volume. Today and the past couple of days, we've broken through the pivot zone, and this thing has absolutely mooned. So that is something to understand. But looking at EQNR, the pivot is basically the point in which it has to hit to buy. Agave Bob, exactly. Now, here's where it differs with me. Technically, the pivot zone would be where it needs to go for you to buy it, but I don't. So technically, a breakout on a cup and handle is when you buy the breakout. What I do is I normally buy on supports. So what I'll do is sometimes I'll buy the start of a breakout, but normally, like with this position, I would have been buying down at 36.28 and setting my stop loss within this range. You'll notice with my stop losses, guys, I don't have a hard stop. I don't have one single price that I'm getting out no matter what. It's always a range, right? Because I know how big money trades, and I know that they purposely flush people out of the market and then buy it back up. A very good example is MAT, right? MAT broke right through support, pulled back up, and if you would have sold, you would have missed out pretty big. Another one is KMB, right? Drove right through support, sat in my stop loss zone for 2 days, and then drove back up. I'm still in this position. Who knows what will happen, but that's why I use a range. So for EQNR, we have this cup and handle. I personally would have been buying down at 36.21, or you can average in. So maybe one position at 38.88, another position at 36.14, and then average down and then set that stop at 35.34. So the pivot point is basically where it has to hit in order for us to buy in. But I tend to buy in a little bit earlier, but I scale into my positions. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I scale into everything. So I take like the max amount I want to own. So let's say like I want to own $10,000 worth of EQNR. I will buy 3,000 the first time, 3,000 the second time, 3,000 the third time, and get myself a nice little average. I don't believe in throwing your whole position in unless it's like a day trade. For me, I just feel like it's mentally easier, and then you end up getting a better price anyway. So we have this cup and handle. Best entry would have been down at 36.12. What we want to see is a push up, good volume around 39.11, pushing through with that volume, and then from there, pretty easily, we should see a hold over the pivot, and I think we'll see a push up to like 42, potentially 44 bucks. So I think EQNR is a phenomenal price. I'm actually might buy some. I might actually just buy some after this. Yeah, EQNR looks very, very good. And what was the other one? I'm sorry, I forget who this was. Someone asked about EQNR and something else. I lost it. I'm sorry, whoever that was. I'm looking at the chat wheel, but yeah. So EQNR looks very, very good, and we'll see where things end up going for the rest of the week. Okay, here we go. Peter, EQNR stock you would consider owning, not just trading. Eugene, I don't know enough about the ticker. Like, I don't know enough about the company in order to say that, but it is something I would trade right now. Talk about a couple week call. Tesla in your ticker list, so it's up. Can you put it in my ticker list? I could put Tesla in there. Hopefully it would uptrend. But Tesla was a good example of like an uptrend as well. You know, for a very long time. Roblox, that was the other one, Michael. Yeah, let's take a look at Roblox. Sorry about that. So looking at Roblox, the exact opposite, not uptrending. Descending wedge, TTM squeeze, looking just like Shopify. I bet that Roblox is going to pop back up to probably 45, 46 in the next couple of weeks. I like Roblox. Same situation as Spotify. I'd be looking to enter at 31, take profits at 51, stop loss around like 19.35. That's what I would be looking for. Make sure you hit the like button, guys, and check out the Discord community down below. Do you expect a bounce in SPY today, or you keep it, or do you think that we're going to continue to see a drop down? How do you get a target price on EQNR cup and handle? That's a very good one, Marcel. I kind of don't. I'm just really kind of throwing shit at the wall with this. We can talk about another one, but let's zoom out, right? So finding a price target on EQNR, we're at all-time highs. So like having a price target is not really, I don't want to say tangible, but we'll go over one that would be a good example. But the reason that I would say that is because judging on how we are trading, we would probably see a move up to 42. That would be a higher high. And for me, I would assume with my years of trading from 41 to 42, the RSI would be red as hell up around 75 and 80. That's where I would take profits. But when you're getting into that like all-time highs, it's a lot harder to make a tangible, take profit. Like let's try to find, is ATKR going to be a good example? No, we're like moving up into all-time highs too. No. CBT, no, same thing. Let me try to find a better example. Okay, this might be good. Nope, no. I'm trying to find something that's not moving out into all-time highs. LLY shouldn't be near all-time. Fuck, no, it really is. Damn it. Yeah, so if there was like an old resistance, then that would be like our price target if we were to see that. Okay, BKR is a good example. Let me go through I love TrendSpider, but the only thing I hate is like it's a bitch to make all your lines show up on everything. So looking at this here, looking at BKR, we have a big resistance where we are at 37.76 on this daily chart. If we were to break out through this, my price target would be right up here around 41 and 45 because that was this resistance all the way back here in 2017. So these old resistance lines are going to act as a price target. But when you're looking at something like that, it's really all up to yourself if there's no like old higher high. Waiting to cash secured put on Tesla. Any thoughts? Yep. Yeah, I think that's good. Like I like cash secured puts on Tesla. They're pricey, but it's a really good way to get filled on a long-term position or just collect some cash in the meantime. I think it's good. I think you could sell like a 600 cash secured put on Tesla if you don't want to get stuck with it, and I think you'd be doing pretty good. Bill, what's up, Bill? Nvidia cost ASML. Let's do this quickly. Nvidia, wouldn't touch it personally. No longer uptrending, head and shoulders. Looking like we found a bottom at 154. Could be a dead cat. I would be buying Nvidia at 154. There's more volume. I'd really be buying it at 122. That's like where I'd really be looking at. Costco. Let's take a look at cost. Potential dead cat, same, massive sell-off, nice bounce. I'd be buying Costco at 387. And what was the last one? Nvidia, Costco, and ASML. ASML. ASML, there's a decent support here. I'm looking at the weekly charts too. You guys have to remember that. There's a decent support here, but for me, I'd be buying at like 429. It has bounced, but I don't like this area of support. I'd be waiting for all of those to fade a little bit more. Can you go through Roku? Let's do Roku. Roku's like sort of same situation as like Shopify, all these other small techs. Descending wedges, good divergence, not a lot of volume. It's looking like we're probably going to snap. I think your safe bet would be down 75 because there's a thin area of volume between 89 and 75. So I think 75 would probably be your best bet. But if you want to enter now, it's not a bad idea. And I do think it's pretty good long term. Take a look at AMC. Let's take a look. Big spike on AMC back on the 29th, or on, 29th of March. Honestly, I'm not a fan of AMC at all. We had this descending wedge. We had this breakout. We had this rejection at 35, and now we're holding. I think AMC is going to drop down to $5 in the next couple of weeks. Well, probably next couple of months. It's a lot longer term. But yeah, I don't like it, honestly. Any ideas about the wheel strategy? Yeah, the wheel strategy is phenomenal. Yeah, if you guys don't know what the wheel strat is, it's basically selling cash secured puts until you get filled, and then selling covered calls until you get filled, and doing that over and over and over. It's a very good way to make consistent profits. The biggest issue at this point, though, by doing a wheel strategy is that you're limiting the amount of upside that you have. Let me see. Could you go through Palantir? Yeah, let's take a look at Palantir. It's been a bit. All right, hang on. All right, so you guys want to do Palantir. We can do Neo too as well. Palantir had this channel, broke through the channel. We've been around here. We filled the gap up to 911. And we're going to use this old support as a new resistance. Why can't I not make this bigger? Let's do this. There we go. So we're going to use this old support as a new resistance. It's looking like Palantir can push up to 10. Looking at the weekly, we've been using, this is the thing, on the weekly chart, we have been using this EMA as a resistance basically since we broke under it in November of 2021. What happened here, actually? Since we're live, I want you guys to tell me what is this considered? So we made lower lows on this price action, but the RSI made a higher low. What is that called? So when price action makes a lower low, but the RSI makes a higher low, what is that called? Eugene, I'm thinking of selling a covered call on Palantir, 1050, 10 or 950. Diversion. Let's go, boys. Yep. Yeah, diversion. Bullish diversion. It would be a bearish diversion if we were moving up, but a bullish divergence. Yep. So that doesn't mean that like we're going to bounce. It just means that the trend is weakening. It doesn't mean it's weak. It just means it's weakening. So you want to sell a covered call. So you're bearish. You don't want to get filled. I think selling a covered call for like 10 for next week is not bad. I don't think we're going to push that high. But I think if you are a bull, we could see this run up to like 1080, 12, but I don't think we're going to get over that. It's going to be very hard to get through this. There's been a lot of selling pressure, and we have recovered a bit, like from 649 up to 10. I might actually sell my long terms. I'm up like 70% on these. So I got it in a really good price. But I think, like, it's not something I would trade, to be quite honest. I think investing long term is a good move if you're okay with risking that type of cash. Like Palantir is one of those companies, like the stock is going to be worth 0, or it's going to be worth about like $400 a share or some shit in the next 15 years. Long term, I like it. Short term, I wouldn't trade it. If you want to sell a cash or a covered call, I would be looking at trying to probably sell a covered call at like 10, 50, 11 if you don't want to get filled. Give me an analysis on ENVX. Let's take a look. ENVX. So this is okay. All right. I want you guys to give me a little feedback on this. What are some things you notice? We're looking at a weekly chart first, but what is like one of these major things that you notice? I'll highlight this area, but what do you notice about ENVX on this bigger time frame? Didn't hit the level I wanted to get in. What do you guys notice about ENVX? And my goal in doing this is a little slower than like, you know, shooting a normal video, but I want you guys to kind of come to these conclusions together and get a better understanding. Well, what are some things that you notice first, right? First thing, it didn't hit the level. So the first thing you're going to note is this big red line here, right? We already went over this, what this red line is. Red line is point of control, which is the highest amount of volume. So you know we're trading right now around the highest amount of volume. Now, there is one thing that I'm not a fan of. It's heading against a main resistance, which was a support before. Exactly. Almost squeezing. It looks like it will cross over the VPOC. Strong resistance. Exactly. So let's go through this. Right. We're gonna highlight this, and maybe I'll not make it green because it's gonna look ugly. I have like ridiculous OCD with my charts. So let's highlight this. You'll note that this range, and remember, I like to use ranges. I don't like to use little lines. I want a range. This range, basically between $14.19 and $13, was a support since IPO. So since January of 2021, this has been a support range forever. Okay? What happened? We broke that support range and we dove right under it. And what's happening now? Old supports become new resistances. And so for me, my worry is that this is going to become a new resistance. We're going to reject it 14.24. I'm going to dive bottom back down to $6. Doesn't mean it has to happen that way. But there is a chance that we could reclaim it, push back up, and then run up to like 17.50. So I've been waiting for 13. I'm thinking a retrace, but I can't figure out where. Yeah, so a retracement would probably happen down to 11, right? The reason for this retracement is the RSI is getting overbought. We're at 68, so we're not overbought yet, but we're getting close. This squeeze released, so it released on the 26th, and we have this rejection up here at 14.41. In my opinion, I would, if you really want to get into this position, I think it's going to be hard to get through this thick level of volume between 16 and 14. But if you really want to get into this, what I would be looking to do is enter the position down to like at like 11.15, maybe 11.15, around like 11.3, like $11.03. Like this would be the area to enter and then try to run it back up. Like I'd be looking to enter around 11.33, set a stop loss around 9.48, take profit at 14.51 or 18.50. That's how I'd be looking at it. Dave Lee, Bill Gates bet against Tesla. Did he really? You look at Teladoc. It looks juicy to me. Teladoc I like long term. But this thing has been beaten to hell. It's like pre-pandemic lows. It's beaten, but it's a massive risk, right? Like the one thing I want you guys to get, to understand truly, and you guys know this, right? Most of you know this, but like, and I'm not saying you guys are saying this, but like just because a stock is beaten to shit does not mean it has to come back. It can never come back, right? Like I had an investment in Small Direct Club. That shit's gone. Like that money's gone, right? Teladoc, I do like Teladoc long term. I think it's extremely undervalued. The issue is with Teladoc, we have a divergence on the daily, which is good. 65-minute is just holding here. Divergence on this daily, but like there's just not enough volume, right? And normally when we have a gap down on something that's very fundamental like earnings, we tend to not recover quickly. I don't think Teladoc is worth a trade, but I think Teladoc is worth entering long term. You could make some money off of a trade, but still. Any news on Tesla split? I have not heard anything, no. I have not yet. I'm looking at the VIX is relatively low, 25, and giving higher lows. It looks like it'll bounce off 25. What do you think about getting long puts on SPY or QQQ? You know what's nuts too, Ron, is like VIX at 25 now is like low, but like like above 20 is like still relatively like very very high volatility. Um okay, so let's do this first. Let's this could actually probably be its own video, but let's do this since we're live streaming. We'll talk about SPY and the QQQs and if it's worth getting puts on, and then we'll hop off. But what does the VIX mean? Does anyone know what the VIX tracks? VIX, because like TVIX is a 3 times ETF or 3 times ETF for the VIX, and there's something important I want to get across here. I think most of you guys understand this, but some people don't. All right, volatility, fear, volatility. Okay, you guys know this. So some people, if you are one of those people out there, there's nothing wrong with it, but some people believe that TVIX and the VIX is an inverse of the market, and it's not. Okay, it's very important to understand that the VIX is not an inverse for the market. Right, so technically, when you all it's just saying is there is volatility. There can be volatility to the upside, right? Like if the S&P 500 ripped, I mean it's not going to, but if the S&P 500 ripped 15% today to the upside, the VIX would fucking moon because there's so much volatility in the market. So it's one thing I want you guys to remember: the VIX and volatility is not a opposite against the market. So please remember that. It's just showing that there's volatility, but normally the VIX rips when the market is dropping because there's more volatility. Why don't you long-term sell VIX if it's over 40 as it always recovers? I mean, you could, like long-term you could. But let's take a look at the market overall. So let's look at a weekly chart. I like watching the overall broader market on a weekly chart, and I haven't really talked about this in a bit. One, because I was away on vacation, and two, I just haven't talked about it much. But the S&P 500, if you guys have been within our Discord or following this channel for at least the past like 8 months, 6 to 8 months, you guys know that we have been watching this head and shoulders on this weekly chart basically since the top of this shoulder. October of 2021 is when we started watching this. Also, if you guys haven't already, check out the Discord link in the description. It's completely free. Come chill. But we've been watching this for a while. We had this big head and shoulders. So we had this shoulder forming here, head forming here, shoulder forming here, neckline down on 420. And we were saying forever, if we snap 420, we're dropping down to 380, down to 400. If we snap 400, we're going down to 380. That hit to a T, we hit 380. And if we snap 380, we're going down to 355 because that's where the 200 SMA is. That's also where this old resistance was after the pandemic. That being said, all of that happened to perfection. We flash dumped basically like 4% down to $400 in 2 weeks. Then we dropped even lower to 380. It got bought up aggressively at 380, and now we're running back up to 420. I don't trust the market as far as I can throw it right now. I had about $160,000 I wanted to put into the market long term on that dip. I did not put nearly what I want to put in. I put about half. If you guys are part of the Discord, I threw out all my long-term investments and I did a live stream on it. If you want me to do a video on my long-term investments, let me know. But I put about half in my long-term investments. 420. That's right, Josh. Because I plan on the market dipping more. But I want to start getting in long-term on some of these dips in case we just completely recover, which can happen. At the end of the day, I like that we got bought up. I think there's a 60% chance we hit the bottom, but I still think that we could drop 15% more down to 358/350, and I think that we would end up being good there. And I would say that it's probably a safe bet to at least stick a hedge in. Sorry, the person I'm supposed to have a meeting with just messaged me. Okay, sorry. But yeah, so long story short, with a put, if you have so I have a long-term portfolio, I will be putting a put in place. I will be sticking a put in place. As far as an active trade, I don't think it's a bad idea getting like 3-4 month out puts. But if we push back over 420 and hold over 420, I would be closing out my bearish position. As of right now, I have about 50% worth of my long-term investments in, and I'm trading a lot of these stocks that are moving upwards. So I don't have a bearish position, but I'm not entirely bullish. And my way to combat that is by not being fully in the market. I'm about like 65% in the market total. Sometimes when I'm trading with more money, I end up doing that. But we'll see. Peter, when can we do these live streams more often? Benefit huge. I would like to do one every day. But like I said, the algorithm doesn't like it. I'm going to try to do one every day. If not like 3 times a week, I'll post them here. I feel that like it's a lot more impactful when I do these live streams. Just because I get to like do stuff off the cuff. The only issue though is that like I don't want to force them. So like I don't like saying, this is with anything, but I don't like saying every single day at 4 p.m. we're live streaming, because there's going to be days I don't want to do it. And then I'm like, we're just wasting everyone's time because like I'm not that emotionally invested. You know what I mean? Like I need to be emotionally invested. So I want to do them when I want to do them. But yeah, I mean, I would like to do them every day, and then I'll record them and put them up there. Looking to get private lessons. Where do you offer that? Currently, I don't. So I had one-on-ones for a while, and then too many people wanted them, and I just like couldn't like keep up with it. Because I have to think about scaling a business and everything like that. Shoot me a DM, Phoenix. I think you already did. I have like some DMs I have to attain to or take care of here. It's only like 10 of them. But we can figure something out. If you do want access to all of our trades, you guys can go into the Discord. It's completely free. If you do want access to all my trades, just go to the upgrades section. And for $25 a month, you just hit the Traders Helping Traders link right here. For $25 a month, you get access to all of our trades. You get access to, you can see all the premium sections here. You get access to all of my trades, all of Tommy's trades. He's a day trader. All of Angel's trades, all of Callan's trades. You get access to all the premium bots, all the premium education. We have like a huge education section for everyone who's a premium. It's $25 a month. It's free for the first 3 days. And if you feel like it's not something that is worth your time or energy, DM me. I'll give you the money back. I don't care. I just want you guys to be happy. Do you think Tesla 800 cash or CC, yes, okay, is a safe bet for this week, or could we shoot past that? I think it's a safe bet for this week, personally. This week, but next week, I don't know. D'Alessandro's for cheesesteaks. I don't eat cheesesteaks like that, Josh. There's actually a place near me. Well, it's not near me anymore, but it's like probably a couple miles away, called Leo's. It's pretty damn good, but like our roast beef sandwiches, there's a place called Nick's Roast Beef. Dude, it is freaking nuts. It is so good. Yeah, covered call for 800 is pretty good. What are the odds they approve a 20-to-1 split if the stock is under 1K? I don't think it's that high, but it would help. I mean, so one of the reasons that they would do that is, I'll do a whole video on that actually in the future on why they would split. A lot of it is, you know, it helps with they don't care about the options market at all. You know Nick's Roast Beef? Let's go, Josh. But a lot of times it's to help employees be able to buy stock too. We'll talk about that in another video. Yeah, check out the Discord. If you want to upgrade, you can do that over there. Become part of the team, get access to all my trades, hang out with us, talk. What do you think about oil stocks like XOM and CVS? All right, this is the last one, then we'll hop off. I love them. I've been trading the shit out of XOM, so you can actually see I called XOM out on May 12th to the premium team, and this thing ripped 20%. I closed my position out last week. Chevron CVX is another one that I called out to the team. And that we bought down here around 163. I sold it at 180. I might re-enter. Looking pretty good. Some of them are a little overpriced, but looking pretty good. All right, guys. Love you. Check out the Discord, and I'll see you guys later on. Peace.